All right, let's cut to the chase. Appreciate you guys joining the show tonight. Ty Butler in the building tonight. As you can see, we are on live here on X, Ty D Butler. We are on our YouTube show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And we are reacting to the Yankees losing game 1 of the wild card series to the Boston Red Sox. And the conversation that I want to have tonight is a very simple one. When are we allowed to hold the manager of the New York Yankees accountable? There was literally no reason to take Max Fried out of that game. No reason. Working on a 4-hit shutout. And I'm looking at people talking about where he looked tired. Well, damn it, you gave him an 8-year contract. You gave him all that money for starts like these. We spent all season long raving about his excellence outside of the 2 months where he struggled in July and August. But 8 years, $218 million for starts like these. You don't take him out of that game. And because you took him out and passed the baton to what was at best, suspect bullpen, the Yankees now, 23 hours from now, will have their season on the line. Just like that. And I was on the radio last night, and I said, I'd feel better. I think the Yankees are the better team, but I'd feel much more comfortable in a best of 7 because the longer the series typically favors the better team. But when it's a best of 3, anything can happen. You watch baseball all season long. bad teams win series. We see it all the time. But tonight, what we're not going to do is excuse what Aaron Boone did. Because here's the thing, and it's why I get so frustrated. You almost caught me out my element. Why I get so agitated is because if Aaron Boone, according to the broadcast, pushed all the right buttons. Caballero starting at third base. Him going to against a lefty, his right-handed lineup. We kept hearing the broadcast rave and rave about Aaron Boone's decisions tonight. So what we then can't do is when one of those decisions backfires, just decide, well, throw your hands up, absolve him of criticism. Doesn't work like that. And that's why I get so annoyed, because had he done something tonight, had he allowed Max Fried to stay in that game and the Yankees go on to win, we're singing the praises of Aaron Boone. All of his defenders are arriving in droves. But what happened tonight was Alex Cora managed circles around that man. Alex Cora managed circles around Aaron Boone, as he has done far too often for all of our liking. Because what Cora realized was, my best pitchers got it going tonight. I'm not going to interrupt that flow. Sure, he gave up a home run to Anthony Volpe. Would he retire 15 straight guys after that? But he's got it going tonight. 100 pitches, be damned. He's staying in the game. But we've gotten to a point where in baseball, it's like sacrilegious. You see the 100 pitch mark on that scoreboard out in center field, and it's like, man, we are in treacherous territory. Not when your highest paid pitcher right now, because Cole is hurt, when a guy you gave 8 years and $218 million to is dealing the way that he was tonight, a 4-hit shutout against a Red Sox team that had no answers. And sure, he arrived in trouble at some times, but to his benefit and to his credit, he was able to get out of it. He's balling. Put your trust in him. Who would you rather have on the mound? Luke Weaver, who stunk the last 6 weeks? Or a slightly tired Max Fried? I mean, and that's the biggest thing, too. Because we can sit here and argue, should he have taken Max Fried out? If you're arguing against that, you're dead wrong. But if I want to pretend there is a case to be made that Max Fried should come out of that game, guys, we're going to Luke Weaver, who, yes, last year was tremendous. It was a godsend for the Yankees. But relievers are to some degree, are like kickers in the NFL. They lose it quickly and just can't regain it. No explanation for it. That confidence is shot. So I'm watching that game tonight, and it appeared to me, the moment Aaron Boone walked to the mound, not to have a conversation with Max Fried, not to check in on him and see how your ace is doing, let him make that decision. The moment he went to the mound and signaled to the bullpen, the Yankees, very well, we could make the case, lost this series. Still a game to be played tomorrow, but does anyone watching me right now trust that Carlos Rodon, with the Yankees season on the line, is going to be able to deliver in a big spot? I know what the numbers say. He was one of the best pitchers, opposing batting average. You can check all the metrics. He was top 5. I understand that. But I can't unsee me being at Yankee Stadium in Game 2 of that division series against the Royals last year, and how he melted down. And the scary part about his meltdown is he could be cruising through 3 or 4 innings. But the moment something goes awry, emotionally, implosion. So I just hit us up in the chat, man. I want to talk to y'all, Yankee fans. I see you guys hopping on the stream. Hit me up in the chat. If you're on X, if you're on the YouTube page, hit us up. Nat Hardy says, my man Ty Butler, hope the Yankees lose to the Red Sox. I can't stand the Yankees and their fans. Let's go Boston. Nat, I'm assuming you're a sorry Met fan, which, by the way, one of my boys, and I'm going to blast him, use his name, Ray Ortega, had the audacity to text me right now talking ish. My man, you are a Met fan, and I'm not saying this to be disparaging, but you are a Met fan. After what we saw your team do this season, the biggest collapse, the most epic fail in New York sports history, you don't have room to talk, my guy. It's not how this works. Your team is either at home or in Cancun somewhere watching the Yankees play the Red Sox. So I want to hear from Met fans. It's not what I'm interested in right now. We can have a conversation once we get to, December, when it's time for you to once again win the offseason. All right? So I want to talk to the Yankee fans. And if you're a Red Sox fan, sure, pull up. You got every reason to celebrate right now. Benji puts out, relievers are the punters of baseball. Kickers. NFL kickers could be awesome one year and then immediately lose it. That's what it looks like has happened to Luke Weaver, who since that hamstring injury hasn't looked the same. Has not looked the same. But hit us up in the chat. I see the people up in here in the stream. Want to talk to y'all. I am very agitated because the manager of the New York Yankees, who is not a stranger to doing these such things, lost them a big playoff game. The decision to take Max Fried out of a game that he was dominating, a 4-hit shutout, which immediately blows up in your face, that decision might have cost the Yankees their entire season. And I don't want to hear he's thrown 102 pitches. Guys, you gave him an 8-year contract worth $218 million. We're scared of him throwing north of 102 pitches when the guy he is staring down on the other side put up 117, and his fastest pitch of the night was his final one, the 117th pitch. Alex Cora, once again, managing circles around Aaron Boone. And now we sit here in danger of having to eulogize the Yankee season tomorrow night. I'll be on the radio for that on ESPN New York. I'm not ready to say goodbye to this season. So Carlos Rodon, my man, all you've done this year is show up. And I get that my criticism has been unfair. You had an awful first season. And then folks tried to pretend like last year was some rebound. I mean, you pitched to an ERA over 4, dog. And then I saw you. I was in the stadium when you blew up in Game 2 of the division series. So, yes, this year I give you all the credit in the world because when your best was required, you were able to step up to the plate or the mound and deliver your best. But now the season is riding on you. So I don't want to be sweating by first pitches at 6:07. I'm not trying to have you out there sweating by 6:12. I don't want to see that. You using the jersey, rubbing the sweat off. I'm not trying to live through that experience. And the insane part of this entire thing is, even if Rodon is tremendous tomorrow, you still can't trust that the Yankee manager is going to make the right decisions. You still can't trust that those bullpen arms are going to be able to come in and perform. Because even Bednar tonight gave up a run. Bednar, who we've grown to trust. Now, I guess he was due to give up a run. But that's a huge, from 2-1 to 3-1, that is a huge, huge sequence there. The whole mentality of the team changes. Now, give credit to Goldschmidt to Aaron Judge and to Bellinger, first three guys up in succession on base. But then far too often, us Yankee fans have grown accustomed to watching this team do exactly what they did in that ninth inning. Not score any runs. And by the way, we started this stream by crushing Boone. Not off the hook is that Yankee offense. Crochet's awesome. So maybe it's unfair to be critical of a team that this season was far and away the most prolific home run hitting team. It's all they did. They mashed. So maybe it is too over the top for me to criticize the Yankees who led all of baseball in runs scored. But coming into the ninth inning, y'all had 4 hits and 1 run. 4 hits. 4 hits. After the Volpe home run in the second inning, y'all just went quiet. So it's a little bit of everything. But it's a lot of Aaron Boone once again being Aaron Boone, and that's not a good thing. When the manager of the Yankees is constantly making decisions that ends up costing them games, at some point, it's not unfair to blame the guy. So stop it. All of the defenders, it's like, be honest about what you're watching. He blew it. He blew the game. I know he's got staunch supporters out there. I'm not coming at him as a person. This is not personal. This is, you're the manager of the Yankees. And too many times I've watched you blow games because of suspect at best or at worst, dumb decision making. It's not unfair. It's not an opinion that folks are not allowed to have. Now, look, the relievers have to get it done. And shout out to my professor from Syracuse, Professor Nicholson, pulled up in my mentions and was like, because I put on X, I was like, yo, is it fair to blame Aaron Boone? He's like, sure, but how about Luke Weaver? And my retort to that is, yeah, man, we can blame Luke Weaver because he did give up the runs, did give up the lead. But Luke Weaver should not have been in that game to begin with. Shouldn't have been in the game. Why was Luke Weaver in that game? And I am hesitant to decree, the death of analytics because I'm a numbers guy at heart. I do think sometimes we go a little nuts with our use of the numbers. And I also miss the days where managers can make decisions with some gut involved. So I don't want to just simply focus on the analytics and bash the guys. The manager of the New York Yankees watched Luke Weaver for 6 weeks show you he was not capable of pitching in high leverage situations. Luke Weaver, in the month of September, pitched to a 9.64 ERA. The pitcher that the Yankees decided to bring in to a pivotal playoff game, when you're staring down the barrel of Garrett Crochet on the other side, the pitcher they decided to bring into a playoff game opposing that dude, because Max Fried at 102 pitches, I mean, Lord help him if he can go north of that. They decided to bring in a guy who in September pitched to a 9.64 ERA. That's what they did. So I'm not allowed to blame the manager. Come on, hit us up in the chat. Let's talk about situational hitting too. The playoffs can be seen. And I'm gonna throw the comments up on here so you guys can see what people are saying. Yeah, let's talk about situational hitting too. The playoffs can be seen. This is Benji as a string of situations. No, the Yankees can't hit situationally. Well, the ninth inning showed us that they could, right? The ninth inning was a breath of life because Crochet just mowed them down. And I was in a couple of group chats, and the most confidence I had as the innings were, waning was Chapman back at Yankee Stadium, big playoff spot. He's allergic to big time situations. So I said, there's no chance Aroldis guys, what were the odds? And we could have looked at all of the books. The odds that Aroldis Chapman was going to be able to come into a game of that magnitude, the Aroldis Chapman that we all watched up close and personal, the odds of him being able to come into a game of that magnitude at that stadium with that crowd roaring and get through the likes of Goldschmidt, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Chisholm, and Grisham without giving up at least a run. At least a run. Now, Bednar gives up the insurance run, and I lost a little confidence there. But bam, 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 3 straight singles. I'm like, all right, we're cooking here. This is the overall just Chapman I know. I saw all the numbers. I saw the graphic. I'm like, nah, man. The Aroldis Chapman that I know has never met a big-time situation where he didn't want to give up a big home run. And give him credit. He was able to shut the door. And now the Yankees and their season on the cusp of being over, which, by the way, can't happen, y'all. I don't know how many all-encompassing sports fans I have here on the stream. I see you guys showing up in numbers, so shout out to the people in here. Hit us up in the chat because I want to have a back and forth. I want to talk to y'all. I don't know how many of you guys are all-encompassing New York sports fans, but the absolute, just fandom aside, like Yankee fandom aside, the absolute worst case scenario is for them to be done tomorrow night. You got the Mets throwing up all over themselves. The Jets and the Giants are combined, 1-7? I mean, shout out Jackson Dart, but I don't envision this going so well that the Giants late into the season are some relevant story. Relevant meaning like a playoff team. They'll be relevant because of their rookie quarterback, but a fun team to watch that you actually think could make the playoffs. And then we're just waiting for the Knicks to start, which I'm excited about. I'm not a Knicks fan, but a lot of high expectations coming into the season. Yeah, y'all know I'm a hoops head, so I could get down with that. But the elapsed time, then shout out the Rangers as well. Revamp situation, new head coach and all that. But we can't. Right now is not a good time for the Yankees to just be one and done, or I guess two and done. Especially because the Mets couldn't hold it down. Man, I'm exhausted. I felt like I played in that game tonight. And you know what? Even because I tweeted this out. So make sure y'all give the social media pages a follow. Ty Butler. That's the YouTube page. Subscribe to the channel. We do this show every day. And hit me up on X as well. I'm tweeting, and that's kind of how I take notes for shows. I'll tweet through it. I tweeted during the game as the Yankees are up 1-0. I'm like, yo, this isn't even fun. It's not fun. Like, in theory, it's fun. Leading up to it, I was nervous. I had to take my son to karate class today. Karate class started at 5:40, and it went till 6:25. So I felt bad too that, he's doing this thing, and he always looks at us, Cassie and I, for, like, you know, affirmation, confirmation of what he's doing, approval. And there are a couple of times where I'm just locked in on my phone because first pitch is at 6:05. His karate class is going till 6:25. So it happened. Head down. I know Cassie was a little bit annoyed by that, but that was my experience for the first inning and a half. Then I get home, and emotionally I'm just on tilt because it's not an enjoyable experience. You're just nervous the whole time. You're nervous the entire time, and once the manager makes, unshockingly, a dumb decision, that anxiety turns into anger. It turns into anger. So listen, we sit here tonight trying to provide some therapy for the Yankee fan base. But as you can tell, I'm annoyed. Yo, there are people I love the engagement. I really do appreciate that. I really do appreciate the engagement I get on the social media platforms. But then you just got some people who are, and I say this with a lot of respect, I promise, are just dumb. Are really just dumb. Like, some dudes arguing with me about Aaron Boone's decision to take Max Fried out. He's like, he threw 105 high leverage pitches. And I'm like, fam, first of all, you can't even get the information correct. If you're going to come at me, at least provide accuracy in your retort. It's 102 pitches. He's like, oh, big deal. 3 pitches. 3 pitches is not a big deal. You mean to tell? And this is why I get so mad at y'all sometimes. 3 pitches is not, I rounded up 3 pitches. That's not a big deal. So you mean to tell me that if Max Fried instead, let's just change it for a moment. If instead he was at 97 pitches, Aaron Boone's not taking him out the game? You think if Max Fried was at 97 pitches, I'm going to pull it up for y'all. That's how mad I am at this dude. Give him some shine. Let's pull up the tweet, shall we? And as I said, you guys can engage by hitting up the chat. I want to pull up the tweet just because I got so annoyed. All right, let's do it. So here's the dude. Can y'all see that? Let me try to blow it up. Can y'all see this tweet right here? Maybe I can. Y'all can see that, right? All right, cool. So here's the tweet. Stop talking about Boone. And this is Uncle Bubba _88. Stop talking about Boone. You look stupid. Fried threw 105 high leverage pitches. Weaver and anyone else from the pen has to be able to get out Rafaela, Sogard, Yoshida. They just have to. Yoshida. They just have to. Yoshida comes in, who was hot all September and delivers a big blow. So the second part of the tweet is something that I totally agree with. Weaver has to be able to perform. The problem is we saw for an entire month he was not able to do that. He pitched to a 9.64 ERA. And as we just, work backwards in this tweet, stop talking about Boone. No, he's the manager of the team. We're not going to stop talking about him. If this were the NBA, if this were football, if a team loses and we can directly point to a decision that the head coach made, why would we stop talking about it? Doesn't make any sense. You look stupid. No, you actually look stupid, which is so perfect because it sets up. He says, you look stupid. Freed through 105 high leverage pitches. And he tries to put the emphasis on the amount of pitches by using high leverage. Man, we're not playing that game. First of all, get your information correct. It wasn't 105, it was 102. And every pitch in playoff baseball is high leverage. So you're not adding anything by saying high leverage pitches. Get your information correct. And then he's got the audacity to come at me and he's like, oh, wow, I rounded up 3. Big deal. Yes, it is a big deal. You don't think 3 pitches for a manager who is thirsty to go to his bullpen is a big deal? So if you're going to come at me, all I'm saying is to be accurate with your info. That's all I'm asking. We can have a back and forth. I'm not that type of dude that looks down on people. We can have a nice little back and forth. Just be accurate. Just come at me with some facts because your information lacks accuracy. That's all I'm saying. Uncle Bubba, appreciate you though. Ty Butler's where we are in the chat. Talking to y'all in this post-mortem after and just an objectionable Yankee loss. Oh my goodness. That one. That one. I did not understand. All right, so we're going to have to sit on this and just hope that Carlos Rodon can be that dude he had been for the Yankees all throughout the season. Because as I said earlier in the stream, when his best was required, he stepped up and he delivered. Carlos Rodon, in a year where you have no Garrett Cole, so he is now and I shouldn't say graduated because he was the number 2 last year, but he was supposed to be your number 3 starter behind Fried and Cole. So once Cole goes down, he is now thrust back into being the number 2 after struggling his first couple of seasons. Give the man credit. Pitched to an ERA a touch above 3, 203 strikeouts, and he won 18 games for the Yankees this year. Won 18 games for the Yankees. What I don't love, 3 starts against Boston, he's giving up 11 runs. That feels like a problem. It also feels like a problem having him on the mound to begin with in a big game like this. But it's all good. It's all good. I'm trying to roll through Twitter right now to see because I got people on my mentions. I want to see what's going on. Jazz Chisholm was called. Jazz Chisholm, who look, it's been tremendous. Arguing like a strike call that was, I mean, inarguable. Like he's arguing a ball that was clearly a strike. I didn't understand that. I did not understand that whatsoever. Trent Grisham just did not look comfortable at all. And this is going to listen, it's still time to change this narrative, but I always felt like Grisham is the type of player who is going to put together a really good regular season and contract year. Someone's going to pay him a boatload of money unnecessarily. Then he's going to revert back to being Trent Grisham. Volpe's got to get some love tonight. That's a tough environment to be in. We've been down on him, rightfully so, all year long. And he came up, man. 2 for 4 tonight. Was responsible for the lone Yankee run. Was solid defensively. It was a ball in the hole that you can't really blame him for because I forget who was running, but he was not going to be able to throw him out anyway. So Volpe held it down tonight. Austin Wells, I feel like he's just been lost all season. And then not having Ben Rice in the lineup, which I understand you're playing to your matchups, that was a crusher too. Ben Rice is like the Energizer Bunny. He just rakes. He absolutely rakes. So, both managers were put into a bit of a bind because the opposing team was throwing out lefty starters and they were trying to match up with that by going all right-handed. So uh it allowed for a lot of good players to be left on the bench, but because of Crochet's dominance, those good players for the Yankees were relegated to the bench. We didn't see Ben Rice. We didn't see Jazz Chisholm until the ninth inning. And between those two guys, we talking what, 60 home runs on your bench? So that's why you trade for and you give big time money to a guy like Garrett Crochet, because as much as this sport evolves and changes and its bullpens and openers, you need your aces to lock down, to muscle up, and to be able to plow down the opposing team. And the Red Sox had a dude like that tonight. Kenneth, he pulls up and he's like, typical masterclass from Boone. I think you mean disaster class, because that's what we saw tonight. A disaster class from Aaron Boone. And I'm excited to see people defend him tomorrow. I am so excited to see the masses or whoever his staunch supporters are. I am excited to see y'all defend Aaron Boone. You won't be able to do that. You will not be able to do that. And the only real counterpunch you have is, well, Luke Weaver. I mean, you got to have your relievers deliver. You went to a reliever who pitched a damn near 10 ERA in September. He told you all month long he was not going to be able to go into a game like that. So, I mean, typical. 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 Bases loaded, nobody out, 0 runs across. Riddle me that. Nat Hardy's back up. He was hating earlier. He said, I'm a Baltimore fan. All right, congratulations. You played yourself. That's your first L. The Orioles. Every year we hear about, oh, these young players. This is going to be the season for the Orioles. Yeah. Congratulations, Nat. I appreciate the love, man. You always pull up to the stream. So I respect I respect the commitment. I appreciate you showing us love, but man, you're rooting for an Orioles team that, in 2024 made the playoffs. But let's keep it a buck. Nothing really to cheer about. Nothing really to cheer about with your Orioles. When's the last time they made a championship series? When's the last time they did anything of significance? So I see why you hate, and it's all good, Nat. It's cool. You want to hop in here and be a hater? Do your thing, my man. I ain't gonna knock your hustle, dog. Appreciate you though, bro. Kenneth, it's a crime he didn't let Max finish what he started. Nah, no one on the bases in the 8th and 9th batters for the Sox. It's just a classic. We already decided what we were gonna do before the game. We map out. Listen, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with preparation. I pride myself on, anytime I'm doing a show or a stream, I am as prepared as the person I'm working with or anybody. I come prepared. I have zero problem with you preparing for every single situation that you're going to come across during a game. Mapping it out, I'm cool with that. You want to chart it out? Fine. But allow emotions to be accounted for in the midst of big-time playoff games, my guy. That's all I'm saying. Your emotions. And I'm not just saying You should be swayed because you like somebody. I'm talking about the emotion of the energy in that stadium, the emotion of that opposing dugout realizing we've got no shot against that guy. And here's another thing too. Sometimes the smart play, what is the other team hoping I do? Alex Cora is hoping you take Max Fried out of the game. He's hoping you do that. And you know what's even better than you taking Max Fried out of the game? You taking him out of the game to bring in a pitcher who for a month pitched to a 9.64 ERA, which screamed to you couldn't get the job done. He had lost it. Look at it through the lens of what are they hoping that I do? The guys I'm going up against. Alex Cora, who managed, once again, circles around Aaron Boone tonight. What was he hoping Boone did? Yeah, he was hoping he took Max Fried out of that game at 102 pitches. Meanwhile, Crochet could get up to 117. And people were like, oh, Max Fried looked tired. He gave that man $218 million. I don't give a damn how tired he looks. It's the playoffs. Your bullpen has been a little bit of a mess. Let him go out there and fend for himself. And if you lose with your best pitcher on the mound, at least you went down on your sword. Can't argue that. We really arguing that? Of course not. Of course not. Rolling through the tweets here. Got hit up. I didn't agree with Boone taking out Fried. Also, bases loaded, no outs. This is the one and only Joey P. Shout out Joey P. Bases loaded, no outs. They can't even get a hit, walk, anything. Players need to be blamed too. And we do that. We blame the players. I put out a tweet in the 8th inning, and I said, hey, man, Aaron Judge is going to have an opportunity to validate the campaigning all the Yankee fans, including yours truly, did on his behalf in terms of winning the MVP over Kyle Raleigh. I tweeted that during the game. And to his credit, I would love to have seen him hit a home run. Gets on base. Can't knock Judge for that. But you're right. Stanton. And I guess the difficult part is Stanton has been, and this isn't hyperbole, an all-time Yankee postseason performer. That's not being hyperbolic. He's third all-time in postseason home runs for the Yankees, 5 away from setting the franchise record, which you figure if they go on a deep playoff run this year and next year, he could pass it. He's healthy, and the Yankees go on a deep playoff run this year and next year, 5 away from setting the franchise record for postseason home runs. So that's why it's hard to knock Stanton. Would have loved for him to hit one out. You know how crazy that would have been? How depressed all of us collectively were after Boone made a dumb decision. Stanton bailed him out by once again showing heroics, hitting a grand slam. Like, that would have been dope. So I can't kill Stanton. And it's also hard to kill Jazz dealing with an injury, coming off the bench, going up against a dude throwing 100 miles per hour. So, yeah, look, the Yankees have to be better in those situations. You have to get runs in. Stanton's got to at least get the ball to the outfield. Got to get the ball to the outfield. So both runners can tag. And then the pressure is on Jazz to do something. So, yeah, to a certain extent, yes. And the players absolutely have to deliver. But if we're being honest, should not have been in a situation where they were trailing if their manager had done things the correct way. That's us being that we're being honest, right? We're being honest. I'm upset. Drake's got that song, right? I'm upset. So we're here hanging out as the Yankees are now a game away, a loss away from ending this season. And in a lot of ways, it's just truly unbelievable to be here. Think about if it was still the old days. And by the way, the Dodgers, if you're a Met fan, so the Dodgers are up 5-0 in the bottom of the third inning. Blake Snell starting that game against Hunter Green for the Reds, who don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Otani hits a home run. So the Dodgers have 3 home runs. I think the Dodgers are headed for a repeat all year long. We volleyed around. How concerned are you? And we went through, the different areas of their injuries and their rotation. And Mookie Betts doesn't look the same. I think they're going to win the World Series again. But the point I was going to make was think about if this were the old days and it still were just a 1-game wild card. Yankee season would have been over. This were the old days. Yankee season would have been done already. Would have been done already. Would have been done already. All right, so looking ahead to tomorrow, you got Carlos Rodon on the mound. And we've talked about, just how, despite how great he's been this year, him in a big spot with all that sweat, I don't know if I trust him. I don't know. I know I don't trust him. I got to see it to believe it. The good news for the Yankees is I know they struggled against Bayo, but at least they get to have their left-handed bats in the lineup. Like we get to see Ben Rice. We get to see Jazz Chisholm. They get to put their A lineup on the field tomorrow. So they're going down, if they are to go down, swinging, literally and figuratively. Got to score more than 1 run. The Red Sox are not. I'd be shocked if the Red Sox get a performance from Bayo at anything close to what they got from Crochet tonight. Crochet was unbelievable, and that gets lost here. Looking at it through the lens of a Yankees fan coming on here, ripping Boone and being all frustrated. Crochet was magnificent tonight. I mean, just otherworldly. Like, this is why they signed him. This is why they brought him here. The 117th pitch of the night for Crochet, which was a career high for him, was 100.2 miles per hour, tied for his fastest of the season. 11 strikeouts, 0 walks, got himself into some trouble a couple times, just like in like within the count, but for the most part, outside of the Volpe home run, he was just plowing Yankees down. First ever playoff start for Crochet. Think about that. Because we talk about pressure all the time. And the Red Sox have just as much as pressure as the Yankees. That's a fan base that, has watched ownership make terrible decisions, including this year. How do you trade Devers? But I guess it ends up working out because the team got better in a weird way. But anyway, a lot of pressure on this organization to deliver results because the ownership is just taking a beating, and rightfully so. Garrett Crochet, his first ever playoff start comes in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. And he's able to just shrug off giving up a home run in the second inning, didn't let him phase him the rest of the way on his way to 117 pitches in what was a pivotal that ends up being a must-win game for the Red Sox. If you're not winning that game pitched by Crochet the way that he delivered tonight, you're not winning the series. Especially with Giolito, he's got the injury. He's not on the roster, so they're going to go to a bullpen game on Thursday if this series does go 3. That is an unbelievable performance from Garrett Crochet. The game of his life. And he did that at Yankee Stadium against a team that scored the most runs in baseball, had the most home runs in baseball, and albeit 2 of their best home run hitters were on the bench in Rice and Chisholm. But that is just an exceptional performance from Garrett Crochet. Kenneth hit us with some numbers. Bayo's numbers at Yankee Stadium. Yeah, he's been awesome, man. He's been awesome. He has been pretty good. But it's the playoffs. It's a game-clinching situation. So it ratchets it up a notch. And the Yankees, what they should do well is put numbers up in bunches. That's what they should do well. Now, the playoffs are a different animal. But I find it hard to believe you're going to get a performance tomorrow similar to what you got from Garrett Crochet today. Like that's just one of those I don't want to say all-time games, but that's the type of game of his life. Steve says the Yankees have no clutch hitting and Boone refuses to get his ass out of the computer. The Yankees clutch factor we saw all throughout the regular season is going to have to show up tomorrow. It's going to have to show up tomorrow. Now, again, I want to diffuse and refute this misnomer about analytics. I don't think analytics are bad. I think the overusage of it drives us crazy to the point where we don't understand why certain decisions are made. I love numbers. I love information. All of it is great. You can blueprint, you can map out. That's fine. But at some point, you get to the line of scrimmage, you see what the defense is doing, call a damn audible. Say, yo, bleep that, man. My best pitcher's on the mound. So I understand the game script, but sometimes there are just decisions made that just drive you nuts. And they linger because if the Yankees go on to lose this series, which is all too familiar, it'll go back and be directly pointed to a decision the manager made. And that's something you're going to have to sit on all off season long. I appreciate you guys for joining the stream tonight. Put out some nice numbers. Hit us up on YouTube, the Ty Butler Show, which is where we get it popping every single day at Ty D Butler. That's where you can find me on X. So if you're in the chat, any final thoughts, back and forth you want to have? The Yankees lose tonight by a final score of 3-1. I am shocked Aroldis Chapman. The one thing that I was certain of was Aroldis Chapman was going to blow it. I was shocked. And amazingly, the broadcast pointed this out because I caught that when Cora brought him in that 8th inning, the velocity was at like 95, 96. Buster only mentioned it on ESPN. I was like, oh, hold up. This is a red flag for me. But then He was pumping them hundos out in the ninth inning, pumping those hundos out. And he was able to bear down and get himself out of trouble. Get himself out of trouble. So Chapman, give him credit, man. Give him credit. And that felt good for him. Doing that against the Yankees. Now, he also, let's just say, questionable. Not even questionable. Let's call it what it is. Not a great guy. Let's just keep it 100, man. Not a great guy with his checkered past. And the fact that, he just didn't show up for a Yankee workout for the playoffs. Like that just, how does that happen? Just didn't show up for a workout. Just decided, yeah, I'm good on that. I'm good on y'all. Just didn't pull up. Back in 2022. Remember the Yankees left him off the roster. He missed the workout. Skipped a mandatory workout. He was just like, I'm good. I'll see y'all on the flip side. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Man. So how you guys feeling? Season comes down. You have to win the next two. You have to win the next two. Now, if you win tomorrow night, you feel great because the Red Sox likely go with a bullpen game in game 3. Cam Schlittler, I know it's a regular season versus postseason, but he was nasty this year. So how do you guys feel headed into tomorrow night? I know that building's going to be on 1,000. Building's going to be on 1,000. And I expect to hear from you guys. So I won't be doing a stream, but I'll be on the radio in New York on ESPN 880. So after the Yankee game tomorrow night, tune in because I'm going to be on the radio taking you guys till midnight. But it's going to be a tough night, man. It's going to be a tough night of sleep for your boy Ty Butler. It's going to be a real tough night. So, again, Rodon, here's what you got to love. I want to leave y'all with some positivity before we exit. What you love is that Rodon all year long has been tremendous. You do, because you're going up against a right-handed pitcher, get some of your best bats back in that lineup. We saw Jazz come in, pinch hitting. We'll also see Ben Rice back in there, and the Yankee. He's like an Energizer bunny, man. You love watching Jazz. Jazz, you do love watching. But I meant to say Ben Rice. That dude is fired up. Fired up. He's like an injection of just like energy, enthusiasm, and he rakes. So getting him back into the lineup tomorrow is going to be a positive for the Yankees. Verdon has to set the tone in that first inning. But I keep coming back to this one thought. The Yankees have to outplay not just the Red Sox, but their own damn manager. They've got to outplay their manager because the manager you can't even trust to make sound decisions. Man. Talk to y'all tomorrow night on the radio. Holla at your boy. Appreciate y'all joining. Peace and love.